We have on Daniel Den. He is the co-creator of the X Factor Effect. And in this episode, we dive deep down the rabbit hole on his proven step-by-step process for promoting the perfect marketing message to your most profitable audiences. We're going to be diving in. Do you want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Kerry Jack, and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality. Yee-yee. All right, Mr. Daniel Den, welcome to the Happy Hustle Podcast, my brother. I am super excited to rock the mic.
Let's go. Thank you, Kerry. So excited to be here. You are amazing. Been a fan for a while of the whole happy hustle movement. Let's go.
Yeah, man. I mean, you are the co-creator of the X Factor methodology. You're a serial entrepreneur. You're a marketer and sales expert. And you got a new book called Ideas That Influence, which I'm excited to dive into. You sent me this pretty epic box that I want to dive into and talk to all the happy hustlers about how they can actually perfect their marketing message so that they stick out in a sea of crowded, noisy marketplaces. But before we get into all that good stuff, Daniel, what's something interesting about yourself that not too many people know?
Not too many people know that. So I used to be a wrestler. Sometimes people notice when they see the little bit of the cauliflower ear, but I've got just a little bit of it. And that transitioned into jiu-jitsu. And the whole reason why I'm like kind of a wrestler, jiu-jitsu guy, like a lot of really cool people that we know, including Kerry himself. you like to roll around every once in a while, right? You know,
Yeah.
Do manly stuff like that. Yeah, let's go. So anyway, the whole reason why was because I couldn't make the basketball team. So
okay, fair enough.
So I grapple occasionally because I couldn't make the basketball team. In ninth grade, I tried. In 10th grade, I tried. And I really wanted to do a sport. So I was like, fine, they're not going to accept me on the basketball team. In North Carolina, to be fair. So I'm a normal-sized white guy. And in North Carolina, there are really, really good, tall black guys and normally a few okay white guys that are really good at shooting. And I was pretty good at shooting, but I wasn't like the best at shooting. So like, but I was good. Like I was good. It was like my passion. But yeah, I wrestled instead and absolutely loved it. So there we go.
Nice. Yeah. And I know our mutual friend Russell is a wrestler. I almost wrestled Russell one time. And glad I didn't, because he actually tore the pec of my business partner because he did wrestle him. So yeah, you definitely don't want to wrestle someone who knows what they're doing if you don't. So
his pec.
Yeah, fun fact.
Bart Miller told me, Bart said, yeah, I've wrestled Russell, and he does not mess around. Like,
yeah, no,
like it's like a switch, like boom. Like if you accept a wrestling match with Russell, flip the switch,
yeah.
and he's going ballistic on you. And
yeah.
So be prepared. And I was like, oh, okay.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you and I actually met at Bart Miller's event and, just hit it off there. Bart's a great dude. And, you were telling me about your box that was in the works with Mark from Custom Bach Agency. And then I got the dang thing. You sent it graciously to me. And I'm like super impressed by it. I'm showing it for all the people watching on YouTube. But check this out. It's got a little light in it, pens. It comes with a mug. It comes with dice. I don't want to spoil all the surprises, but I mean, all different kinds of like envelopes and sticky notes and stuff to really increase the engagement and the implementation of the principles. And essentially, it's all centered around your book, right? Ideas That Influence. And the subtitle is The Proven Step-by-Step Process for Promoting the Perfect Marketing Message to Your Most Profitable Audiences. Why'd you write this book? Let's hear it.
Well, when I say we, Pedro Superti and I, we did this event for our mentoring students down in Brazil. Those people down in Brazil, they paid about $10,000 to be part of this mentoring program. And we came up with this methodology. And the whole purpose of the methodology was that people, if you tell people, hey, you need to have really cool marketing that breaks through the noise, and you need to be like unique and creative. Like if I say that, the problem, Jack, sorry, Carrie, that problem, Jack. I'm like, that was not right. The problem, Carrie, Jack, is that without a process for creativity, without a process for marketing that breaks through the noise, people don't know what to do. So we came up with this methodology, and we were like, okay, like this is really cool. Like, and it followed our X factor effect principles, which is all about doing things differently. And we were like, all right, we're going to teach people how to be different the right way with their marketing that breaks through the noise. And we turned it into a process. And by the end of those 2 days with those students, they were just on cloud nine, blown away, ready to go home and take over the world because they finally had a process for creative marketing that is proven to break through the noise. And it was so well received that I said, you know what? I think this might be the book that we launch in English, Pedro. What do you think? And he says, all right, go for it. So I write the book, and it's incredible. I'm like, this is amazing. It's got so many cool examples, and the process is just killer. People are going to love it. And then I was like, uh-oh, am I going to launch this book like everybody else? Am I going to just do like a free plus shipping book like everybody else? And I was like, it's got to be different in some way, because it's called Ideas That Influence. And if I have this book and it's called Ideas That Influence, I need to prove that the concepts that I teach inside of the book work. So I need to be different myself. I need to do something different in order to break through the noise. And that's when I was sitting in a mastermind in Mexico. I was sitting next to Mark, and I was sitting next to the Latimers. And the Latimers, they were talking about how cool it was with their Kid War Plan journal, if you've seen that. And like it sells like crazy. And then Mark talking about the boxes, and I'm like, that's it. I have to be the first one to launch an interactive book box experience that is free plus shipping, that walks people through the whole process, that gives them gifts, that gives them an experience, and that gives them the tools so that they can not only just read the book, but they can apply the book as they're reading. So I slightly adjusted the book, and there's different chapters in the book that say, hey, go do this scratch off. Hey, go open this envelope. And hey, these are the resources to help you come up with these big, bold, sticky, and wildly successful marketing ideas.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I do agree. Like, you gotta be the example, right? If you're gonna talk about ideas that influence, launching it with this interactive book box is a really great way to show people, not just tell people, right? I mean, the book itself is impressive, but the box, I mean, I know Mark personally because he was also at the mastermind. So shout out to him and your whole team and the Latimers. Josh was actually on the pod too, and it's awesome to see it come to fruition. I mean, I'm just looking at it, and it's a innovative way to launch something, specifically if you want to increase that implementation, which you and I talked about, is like, that's the metric that really matters, not just selling books, but like getting people to do, the things that will support them ultimately to increase the impact, right? Let's walk through some of these principles in the book. I mean, give us, like, obviously if people want them, you could just, like, if you want to go deep down the rabbit hole, you got to get the book box, and we can kind of tease where to get that at bigideasbox.com. But let's just hear some of these principles, from the get-go. Where do people start if they're like, all right, I got an idea, Daniel, where where do I go first to really see if this idea is big enough to share my marketing message?
100%. So there's actually 7 elements. Now, if we sit here and we're like step 1, step 2, that like we're going to lose people. So I've got some really cool examples. It's all throughout the book and that we can share right here with some of these steps. But there's 7 main elements for these big, bold, sticky, and wildly successful marketing ideas that break through the noise. And the goal is to gather your best ideas and make sure that you at least have 5, 6, or 7 of these elements for your marketing message. One of the first ones, and this will kind of explain, like you saw the bouncy balls, right? So
Yep.
the first one, and there's a story behind it because there we go. There's the bouncy balls.
Yeah.
So Carrie opens this envelope and there's these 12 bouncy balls. And he has no idea why the heck I would send him this box with 5 different envelopes. And one of the envelopes has 12 bouncy balls in it. Well, here's the answer. What's the big idea with these 12 bouncy balls? There's a fun experiment that you can do if you have 12 bouncy balls or 12 juggling balls or 12 tennis balls. What you do is first you throw one ball to somebody that's, 10, 15 feet away. And if you throw one ball to somebody 10, 15 feet away, 98% of the time they're going to catch that ball and wow, they caught the ball. Now, you continue the experiment by then throwing them at the same time 2 balls. Now, what happens when you throw 2 balls is that lots of the time they're going to drop one ball and catch the other. And then you throw 3 balls. What happens when you throw 3 is they normally drop all 3. Then you throw 6 balls all at the same time. So imagine 6 balls flying at you all at the same time. Normally what happens is you miss all 6. And then you throw all 12 of them all at the same time. And then things just go crazy and people normally catch none of the 12 balls. The concept here is that when it comes to your marketing message, people make the mistake of throwing more than one ball. What do I mean by that? What I mean is they try to sell more than one big idea with their marketing. And so one of our favorite people to learn from is Perry Belcher. Both Carrie, Jack, and I are Perry Belcher fans. He's just, like a really funny uncle that has lots of really crazy marketing stories, right? So way back in the day, I was studying from Perry Belcher, and he said probably the most impactful thing that I've ever learned from Perry was if you start to do your marketing and you fall into the trap of trying to introduce more than one big idea or concept, you usually cut your sales in half. And I'll repeat that because that's so important.
Yeah.
If in your marketing you fall into the trap of introducing more than one big idea or concept, you usually cut your sales in half. And what he meant was this. So since here with all the happy hustlers, we all understand health and wellness and everything. Let's use a health and wellness example. If I'm going to sell my, let's say, meal plan, and I say, Carrie, this meal plan, it's amazing. First of all, because it's low calorie. Second of all, because it's high protein. Third, it's paleo. Fourth, it's low carb. And then I've lost you because I've introduced 4 big concepts. Now, those are big benefits. Don't get me wrong. But the problem is I'm trying to sell you on all 4 at the same time. It needs to be low carb. It needs to be low calorie. It needs to be high protein. And it needs to be paleo. Those are 4 really big concepts when it comes to dieting. The correct way to do it is to do what? Pick one. Pick what's the most impactful. What's the thing you stand for? Throw one ball. So if it's paleo, go big on the paleo. Sure, you can mention at some point in your sales process that, oh, by the way, this is low carb and it's high protein and, there's these other benefits. But if I try to sell 4 big ideas at the same time, I successfully am going to get you to catch no balls and my sales are going to fall flat on their face because I'm trying to introduce too many big concepts at the same time. So the number one thing, Carrie, that we teach is first of all, throw one ball, introduce one big concept, because there's a study that says that we're shown about 4 to 10,000 different marketing pieces or ads every single day. It comes from Forbes. 4 to 10,000 ads. That's insane. So the question
Yeah.
is, how do we break through the noise of the 4 to 10,000 ads? Well, first of all, don't fall into the trap of trying to introduce more than one big idea. Just throw one ball. So, Carrie, my question to you is, have you seen that mistake before, where people are like trying to introduce multiple concepts, whether it be in a speech or in a book or like with a marketing message?
Oh, for sure. And I've even fallen victim to that mistake, plenty of times. So it's definitely a great reminder, and it is something I even had to rework my whole book with, like a super clear through line, like our whole shtick at the Happy Hustle. The biggest thing is to combat imbalance, right? Like that's what the Happy Hustle is all about: systematically harmonizing ambition and well-being, ultimately to create that balance in your life. And I've seen that confuse people sometimes too, just with our own message, because we've like, oh, but we help with your health and your loving relationships and your mindful spirituality. So I think it's a very great point, and I like how you portrayed it with the little bouncy balls. That's awesome, man. Let's talk about these dice. Talk to us about the next kind of example in here.
Awesome. Well, the dice, it's probably the best. The purpose of the dice, if you roll those specific dice that we give you access to inside of the box, I don't know if you've tested them yet before,
I
but
haven't
Carrie,
actually.
if you test them, try to roll anything other than a 5, a 6, or a 7. Can you roll anything?
Oh, they're weighted, huh?
No, they're not weighted. Try to roll anything but a 5, a 6, or a 7.
Nice. Yeah, you can't.
You can't. You can't do it. That's the trick.
That's funny.
And so what we did was we put that inside of the box as kind of a fidget toy, where if people roll it over and over and over again, it reminds them 5, 6, or 7, 5, 6, or 7. So um, the idea of that was, let's have like this fun little sticky widget toy with the dice. And so that's conceptually why we put it inside of the box, because it's a sticky and shareable element. We just shared it right now, and it's like, oh, yeah, you can only roll 5, 6, or 7. So one of the concepts in the book, specifically for your marketing message, is to have sticky and shareable moments inside of your marketing. So if anybody goes to the website, um, quick nod back to the Latimers. So on my website, bigideasbox.com, I have a video where I drop 10,000 ping pong balls on top of my head. Okay, 10,000 ping pong balls, and that represents the 10,000 ads that we're exposed to every single day. I shot that video at Warplant Studios with the Latimers. Okay, so why, when I came up with this idea, did I say, oh, now I have to do it? Dang it, I have to do it. I have to drop 10,000 ping pong balls on my head. Well, the answer is because dropping 10,000 ping pong balls on your head is a very sticky moment. It's visually sticky. And we made it conceptually sticky because we tied it back into our marketing message. The 10,000 ping pong balls represent the 10,000 ads that your dream customers are exposed to every single day. And so the trick with things that are sticky and shareable is we want to have elements inside of our marketing that stick in people's minds. There's a few ways that we can do it. We can have it be visually sticky. We can have it be conceptually sticky, and we can have it be verbally sticky. Verbally sticky is kind of the confusing one, because it's like, oh, well, conceptually and verbally kind of sound like the same thing. But verbally sticky is this: mommy, wow, I'm a big kid now. That's verbally sticky, right? It's jingles, it's things that rhyme, it's things that, like, you hear it over and over again, you can't get it out of your head because in some verbal way it just sticks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Conceptually sticky, okay, 10,000 ping pong balls dropping on top of your head to represent 10,000 ads that your dream customers are exposed to every day. That's conceptually sticky. And then visually sticky, one of my favorite examples, if we want to delve into just a small amount of politics. So when Mitt Romney lost to Barack Obama, there was a very viral campaign that Barack Obama did around the concept of Big Bird. And the reason why Barack Obama ran these ads is because Mitt Romney, for some reason, over and over again during the campaign, promised that he was going to stop the subsidies to PBS and that he was going to, he mentioned Big Bird multiple times. So he's, as a talking point, he kept saying, I'm going to stop Big Bird. He basically was saying it, I'm going to stop the subsidies to PBS. We're going to stop Big Bird, right? And so Obama is like, well, this is very visually sticky. Like if we run these ads with Mitt Romney talking about how he's going to take down Big Bird instead of all of these other problems that are going on in the world. So for some reason, taking down PBS and Sesame Street was on the top of Mitt Romney's list. And Obama used it to his example. And it's one of the most viral and effective political campaigns of all time is Barack Obama running these ads talking about how Mitt Romney wants to take down Big Bird instead of worrying about like the economy and, you know, corruption through Wall Street and things like that. So this was right after the whole Bernie Madoff, like everybody losing all their money type thing. And instead of talking about, you know, corruption, people losing billions of dollars, it's like, no, we're gonna stop the subsidies to PBS.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I do like the, you know, the visually, the verbally, and the conceptually stickiness. And I think, you know, for all the happy hustlers out there, that's something that, you know, you need to bake into your marketing message, or else you'll just become another one of the 10,000 ads. It's so noisy out there, and it's only getting worse, especially with AI nowadays and all of like this, you know, digital content that can be created with AI. It's like we're going to have to sift through, you know, even more, I would imagine, as you know, as we introduce the ease of content creation, you know, and mend it with you know, AI. Let's talk about these little sticky notes. I know this was included also in the box, and I know you know, they have a purpose, so let's hear it.
Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. The sticky notes that we at certain times in the book we introduced the sticky note concept. There's a tool that we give people access to where yep, that's it right there, the triple M pyramid. So what happens is people, when they find their winning marketing message, they run into the trap of sometimes it actually is a two-way street. Sometimes they don't run their winning message enough, and then sometimes they overdo it. So do you remember growing up, because we're close to the same age, Carrie? There was these commercials that ran when we were kids for Head On, and the commercial went like this: Head On, apply directly to the forehead. Head On, apply directly to the forehead. Head On, apply directly to the forehead. Does that sound familiar at all?
Actually, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Okay, so there's this big tube of what looks like this random tube of like lip balm, but it's like massive. And in the commercial, they're showing it applying this to your forehead, and they're implying that it is the cure for headaches. They don't say it because of, you know, they couldn't because it didn't. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But they were implying that it was for headache relief. And the ads ran for about 5 years. And every single time the ads ran, it looked like your TV had broken, because they're like repeating the same message over and over and over again. And sales for Head On exploded. This is a product that was a winner. Now, the problem is that they kept running the same ad for about 5 years. So it worked like gangbusters for them, and they sold a lot of head on until they couldn't anymore. The commercials eventually stopped working. They
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Apologies for interrupting your programming. But I have to tell you, the best investment you can make in yourself is one in which helps you acquire skills. You've probably heard people talk about, oh, just invest in yourself and you'll be successful. Yes, that's true to a degree, but you have to invest in skills that will ultimately help you achieve your desired results. And I think one of the best skills one can possess, be it an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, is the sales sword. Really knowing how to sell, utilizing pressure free persuasion, which will make you more money and more impact. Now, if you want to know how to sell more efficiently and effectively, I just launched a sales course called The Proven Roadmap Process to Selling Millions of Dollars and helping you to increase your conversions guaranteed. And you can get access to this new sales course that the Happy Hustle is launching at thehappyhustle.com/sales. And if you act fast, you'll get it at the lowest price it'll ever be available, because we are launching it and we want to gain amazing testimonials and social proof to further share this knowledge. So if you act fast, you can get it at the lowest price it'll ever be. That's at thehappyhustle.com/sales. Now let's get back to this episode.
they stopped seeing an ROI. And so what people run into the problem of sometimes when they have a winning message is they don't run it enough. So some people, after running the head-on commercial after a month, might have been like, okay, now we have to figure out a new one. No, head-on, they were able to run it for 5 years and make a profit running the same commercial. And then the other part of the problem is you can't just run the same ad for 5 years and not run anything else. And so the triple M pyramid, the whole purpose of it is once you find your winning marketing message that's working, the triple M pyramid helps you by coming up with fresh hooks. So we've all had, and when I say we all, I'm saying lots of us happy hustlers, we've had converting landing pages that it's like, oh, it just works, right? And so sometimes it's like the messaging on that landing page, it converts. Like you're selling, 10% of everybody that comes to the page, and like you're just like, this is good. Like I've got a winner. And then sometimes we run into the trap of like, okay, it's working, but we got to switch it up. And then you switch up your landing page. And then no, it's like you got a lander that's working. Sometimes all you need to do is you need to just get fresh hooks out there, and you need to get more and more hooks to bring more and more traffic to the page. So the triple M pyramid says, hey, once you have your winning message, let's come up with a bunch of really cool, sexy hooks that are relevant to your winning message. And let's hook people in 20, 30, 40 different ways so that we have a constant flow of ads. And sometimes those hooks can be super simple. Like there's people that, like you know this, Carrie, because you have your book and you've done this a few times. Sometimes it's as simple as, hey, I'm going to take a picture with my book at Disney World, and then I'm going to take a picture with my book at the top of this mountain, and then I'm going to take a picture of this book with my family, and then my 5-year-old son's going to hold the book, and then I'm going to take a picture of the book like that. And so sometimes that's all you have to do for your fresh hooks that bring the fresh eyeballs, because we're all attracted to different things. So the whole purpose of that triple M pyramid is to come up with tons of hooks that are related to your winning message once you have it.
Yeah, I like it, man. I think, you gave a solid example there. Sometimes people don't run their campaigns enough. Sometimes they overdo it. You have to find that sweet spot. And it's also just like getting market feedback. Like you can tell when it's too much is taking place, and when you're not getting the conversions like you once were, right? Then you need to pivot and come up with new hooks. I mean, just to stay on that for a beat, when it comes to creating new hooks, do you have a specific process you recommend?
Yeah, and that's why it's called the triple M pyramid. So with the triple M pyramid, what we do is we take your winning marketing message and we put it at the top of the pyramid. And then what normally there's a few subtopics that are super related to your winning message. And so, for example, there's this documentary that I watched about minimalism, and I mentioned it in the book. And in the minimalism documentary, the main concept is, hey, we are actually, and this is perfect for the happy hustle as an example. Through minimalism, like their whole belief that they're selling through the book and through the documentary is that through minimalism, we are going to be happier.
Hmm.
So the minimalistic lifestyle is a happier lifestyle. Now, within that main core belief that they're selling through the documentary and through the book, they actually have sub beliefs. One of the sub beliefs, for example, is that too much stuff is making us unhappy. And so it's a big belief that's related to the main belief that, okay, through minimalism we're going to be happy, and then a big sub belief is, hey, you're unhappy sometimes because you're stressed out because you have to take care of all your crap. And the more stuff you buy, the more unhappy you become, even though the marketing out there is telling you that this stuff's going to make you happy. The truth of the matter is that the opposite occurs, and you accumulating more stuff usually makes you more unhappy. And
Yeah.
so that's one of their sub beliefs. Another one of their big sub beliefs is too much technology. And you talk about this in your book. You talk about all this in your book. Like,
Yeah. Right.
to access to too much technology is just like, it's just ruining our lives socially. It's making us unhappy. Access to the right amount of technology, sweet spot, and you're happy. Too much technology, unhappy. And
Yep.
so in the minimalism documentary, and then they have another sub belief like all about debt, and like, if you live a minimalistic lifestyle and don't take on all this debt, then it makes you happy. And so anyway, all of these sub beliefs, the whole point of it is each one of those could be its own book in and of itself that support the main message, or it could at least be big attractive hooks that bring more people in to buy the main book or to watch their documentary. And
Yep.
so we can do the same thing with our marketing messages as well, and use very similar hooks that are similar in a big way to your main message in order to cast a wider net and bring a wider audience into your main marketing message that's converting like crazy.
Yeah. I think it makes a ton of sense. I mean, having, just I like how you laid it out with you got the microphone, your message at the top, and then macro claim number 1, 2, and 3. And then you have micro claim, and you break it down where, you're essentially just creating different hooks for your business. And then you have to test which ones are actually working, right? When you go about testing, I mean, are you putting are you putting an ad budget typically behind these micro claims, or are you doing it with your organic reach? What do you recommend for, let's say, someone who maybe is just starting out, like they don't necessarily have a huge ad budget? What's the best way to test these different hooks?
It's definitely both.
Yeah.
We are massive fan. Like, I absolutely love paid traffic. The
Mm.
the reason why is because it's just so much faster. Like,
Yeah.
pay for the ads, get your data faster, get your results faster. But today it's 2024. Ads are expensive.
Yeah.
And organic works.
Yeah.
Organic works. There's a lot of organic traffic out there. And so what we do is we do both. And so any Instagram short or YouTube, short, or any long form content as well, all of it's a hook. Just on your podcast, Carrie, you get to look at the analytics for all of your episodes, and you get to see, hey, out of these few hundred that I've done, well, these are the top 10%. These are the hooks that are really resonating.
Hmm.
And so that's organic, right? The podcast, and you
Mm-hmm.
get to see that, and all those are hooks. Like, I'm a hook. Like, I'm gonna be, Probably in the middle. Let's just be honest. Like, I'm gonna get middle like traction for your episode. I'm not gonna be at the top 10%. Like I've been a
We
fan for
don't
a
know
while.
that. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. And that's the thing. You
Yeah.
never know, right?
Yeah.
And it'll come down to, like, what are we talking about? How cool are the stories? And what the title is. And all of it's a hook. So on social media, whether you're doing TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is, running your own podcast, all that on the organic side, every single one of them are hooks. And
Yeah.
then when you find the winners, you can turn those into paid hooks as well. And then on the paid side, every single one you run is a hook. Every single image you have, split testing images, everything, running the same hook but with different images, it's technically a different hook because it's a slightly different image and you attract different eyeballs. And so they're all hooks. And we just suggest, test fast. Don't get stuck on, you know, oh, here's my 5 hooks and I'm going to pray that one of 5 of them work. Just go ahead and test 20, 30, 40 different hooks and then see what your 3, 4 best ones are and then move on to your next 20, 30, 40 hooks. So
Yeah.
test faster.
Yeah. No, it's a great takeaway. I mean, testing, not guessing used to be our MO with the biohacking company I ran prior to the Happy Hustle. It was like, test, don't guess with your blood work, know what is best for your specific body, and same thing goes with your business. You have to like look at the data and analytics for your own marketing messages and make sure that, you have enough sample size too. I mean, it's crazy, but sometimes people I hear like, they'll test an ad for 5 days and be like, well, that didn't work. And, then I'll talk to other experts and it's like, you need at least 30 days to test, anything, effectively. What would you say when you are talking paid traffic? What's typically your process when it goes to finding a winning campaign?
uh, yeah, just th- when it comes to the winning message, first of all, we're going after the ones that have 5, 6, or 7 of the elements, and so we have our main message, and we're like we're vetting, and we'll do little ask campaigns and we'll do little tests before we like go big with that. So the first things first is like you want something that works. You want your bread and butter. You want that like your numbers carry when people go grab your book, The Happy Hustle. It's like you're like it works. In fact, it works so well that let's try to make it even better, and we're going to do version 2.0 of The Happy Hustle because it works so well. And so like you got something that works. The Happy Hustle's a winner. You're in the top 0.5% of podcasts globally. You've got a winner. Okay, so that's your main thing. And then when it comes to, well, let's hook everybody in, then let's make sure our marketing, like it's still focused, like it's focused the right way. And then let's test these hooks and let's see what grows instead of diminishes our reach and our audience. And so we're just all about test fast, fail fast. Don't get emotional about it when it comes to the data side of things, but be very strategic on the front end. So we're
Yeah.
very slow on the big main marketing message, if that makes sense. We are slower than most on the big one, right? We put a lot of strategic time and thinking, and we're going to gather everybody's on our team's best ideas, and we're going to put out something into the market that we know for the most part is going to work. We know our dream customers are going to like this.
Mm.
And then we're going to start testing from there, which is not what most people do. It's different, but it works because if you're competing with 10,000 ads every single day, you want to be that one thing that people remember. So, for example, Carrie, you and I both were exposed to about 10,000 different marketing pieces or ads or whatever yesterday. You probably a little bit less because you're the Happy Hustle guy and you're not on technology as much, but we both still got exposed to a lot yesterday. The question is, what did you remember?
Yeah. Well, I was on a plane yesterday, and I definitely wasn't on very much tech, just listening to an audiobook.
Yeah.
So I
Usually
don't,
we can't remember anything. That's
yeah,
the whole
I
point.
don't remember anything,
Yeah.
honestly.
Okay, so in your case, you went the whole day and nothing really stuck, right?
Yeah,
And then when something does stick, usually it's something like really, really out of the ordinary. And then it's like, oh yeah, like that was different. Like this was different and this was cool. Like that stood out, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so that's what we're going for. And that's why we're so strategic on the front end, is because how can we be that big? We want to be like that big meteor sized ball that crashes through the rest of the clutter. In fact, in the video, for anybody that goes and watches the video on bigideasbox.com, at some point in the video, we take this big, massive orange yoga ball and we crash it through the 10,000 ping pong balls. And we're basically saying, you got to be the yoga ball. And to be the yoga ball, to be that big, bold, sticky, wildly successful marketing idea that breaks through the noise, we're going to have to take a little bit of time to plan and include the right elements for those right marketing messages that have the power to break through the marketing clutter.
yeah,
And we've been able to prove with all of our students, we've got over 20,000 students and clients over the past 10 years, that if you take a little bit more strategic time and include these 7 elements, you're pretty much going to break through the noise. Like before you launch, you're going to kind of know that it's going to work. And then it gets to the point, and I love it when it gets to this point, where you can tell yourself, and your whole team knows it. Like everybody's excited. They're like, it's going to work. It's going to work. We just don't know how well it's going to work. And that is a great starting point.
yeah,
In today's market, that is a great starting point. To know that it's going to work, but just not know how well it's going to work is a great starting point. So, how can we get you there? That's what we teach with the whole process inside of ideas that influence.
yeah. Dude, it's awesome. And I'm sure people are like, all right, I need to get this book. Mention again where the best place for them to get it.
Bigideasbox.com, ideas with an S. And then you
Love it.
just click on the big button that says, send me one of those boxes with the book.
Yep.
And you just pay
There you
shipping and handling and you can grab it there, bigideasbox.com.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, this has been great, Daniel. I do want to put you through some of our,
Oh, write me
happy
down.
hustle. Yeah, well, that too, and our happy hustle hacks. I know that you listen to the show, you'll
Oh,
be
yeah, yeah.
well prepared. So this is a tip, a tool, a tactic in a couple different areas. First being health. I know you lost a bunch of weight recently, and I'm curious if you have something, that you could deem a happy hustle hack in the health arena that maybe is a little uniquely Daniel.
Uniquely Daniel. Oh, man, that's a tough one. Well, so for me, I I had so many false beliefs fed to me about dieting growing up, and I didn't like lifting weights, and then CrossFit got me to like lifting weights, and then by the time I realized, oh, lifting weights really is the key to
Yeah.
being able to keep on eating,
Yeah.
basically, because like if I'm lifting weights, I can eat what I feel like is a normal amount and not gain weight, but I can gain weight feeling like I'm eating normally. If I'm not lifting, if like unfortunately, if I'm not lifting weights, I gain weight. That's just the way
Yeah.
it is. So for me, it's just wow. Okay, it really is. You can't avoid it. So
Yeah.
the trick is how can we find a way that's fun? And for me, the competitive nature of CrossFit made it that it's like, oh, like I do like lifting weights. I just needed it to not be like a solo activity. And that's why I didn't like it, because I always liked team sports and I liked being competitive. And then CrossFit made it so that there was a competitive side to the lifting. And then it's like, okay, now this is fun. Now I get it because I'm doing it with other people. So for me, that
Nice.
was
Yeah.
an okay hack, but like the best
Yeah.
one I got when it comes to the
No,
health.
I like it. I like it, man. That's a good one. Let's talk about money. Something that you do maybe to save, invest, spend wisely, something maybe to earn even. I mean, I just think money's obviously a very important piece to the puzzle. Yeah, I'm curious if you got something here, you uniquely Daniel as well in the money arena.
100%. I sure do. My biggest advice is contracts.
Yeah.
So we got hit with a surprise lawsuit, and we are fortunate enough to be cycling at the moment because of a very unfortunate what's the word, happenstance with a lawsuit. And so we're digging out of that, but the whole thing could have been avoided with the right contracts. We have this false belief that contracts are, it's like, oh, like we're doing a contract because we don't trust each other. No. You're doing a contract because it protects everybody. You got to protect everybody. It's the smart thing to do. Contracts are going to save you a lot of headache, and it might be the thing that makes you the most money long term because you protected yourself and you protected everybody that you're working with because you have contracts. So contracts is my biggest tip for wealth building, which is a unique one, but I
Yeah.
do things differently. So there you go.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, contracts definitely put it in writing. That's a lesson I think uh, everyone has to learn at least once. Hopefully, you can learn from Daniel and I, but if not, learn it only once.
Yeah, you
um,
want to try to avoid that one. Just listen and just do the
yeah,
contracts. Try to avoid that one.
yeah, for sure. Let's talk about spirituality again. Something here maybe to connect to a higher power. Again, I don't really care, one religion or another. I respect everyone's beliefs, but got anything you do here that connects you to a higher power that we could deem a happy hustle hack?
Yeah, I went through an existential crisis about 2 years ago. And then probably one of the healthiest things that I learned coming out of that existential crisis, or one of the healthiest beliefs, is that a lot of us, we're kind of lost and we don't know what we're really doing here on earth. But one of the best things we can adopt as a belief is that it's undeniable that in some way, shape, or form, we're in the same boat. Like we're in this together in some way. We're all connected in some big way. And as long as we maintain that healthy belief that we're in this together, then it's a really healthy and happy way of living your life, because you stop doing the us versus them mentality as much, and you start to see the good in other people a lot more, and you start to have a lot more compassion and empathy, and just a lot of good comes from the healthy belief that we are in this together in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I love that, man. Preach it. That's the truth. Let's put you through the rapid fire round real quick and then we'll wrap this interview up. So, again, random questions and you just answer honestly. First thing that comes to mind.
This is the
Are
one
you
I've been
ready?
waiting for. I've been waiting for this one. Let's
All right, let's go. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Pursuit of Happiness.
Nice. Favorite book?
The pursuit of happiness, and I know. And the favorite book is The Alchemist with our friend Santiago. If you haven't read The Alchemist yet, you got to
Nice.
learn about Santiago and what he went through to find his treasure in life. It is.
Yeah.
Every single time I've read that one, no, not every single time, almost every single time that I've read that one, I have cried. So
Yeah. That's a good book.
I don't cry reading books, but I cry reading The Alchemist. So.
Nice. Favorite food?
Favorite food? I'll just say pizza.
Nice. Best business advice?
Well, I already told you about the contracts. Best business advice outside of that has to be different is the new better. Everything we teach is the fact that people equate being different, being better in their mind with being different. So a lot of times when people say something is better, they're saying that it's better because they like how different it is. So different is the new better. Do things differently in a way your dream customers love, and you are going to break through the clutter in your market and eventually become a market leader.
Like it. What's your spirit animal?
Bear. Yeah.
Nice. 3 things you're most grateful for.
I scratch my back too much to not be a bear. 3 things I'm most grateful for. Kristen, my kids, and failing forward.
Yeah. And if you had a billboard for the world to see with your last piece of content on there, what's your billboard read?
Oh man, this is a good question. What does the billboard read? The last piece of content. Let's just go. Steve Jobs was right. Think different.
All right. I like it. Daniel, man, this has been awesome. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you, brother, for sharing your love, your light, your wisdom, your personality, your energy, your book, Ideas That Influence, and hopefully, your tools to really help people share their marketing message in a more effective way. It's a impressive piece of work, this book box, and I hope everyone, got some value. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. You're amazing. Happy housefulers out there. You guys are in the right place. Like Carrie, like we didn't get into it, but Carrie's got some really cool events coming up, and he does things differently. That's why people love you, Carrie, because you do things differently, and your meetups are baller, man.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Yeah, you have to come out to one soon, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to kick it in person again. Go ahead and mention again where the best place for people to follow you online.
Oh, I'm on socials. I'm just at Daniel Den Official, DEN. Sometimes it sounds like Daniel Dan, but it's Daniel Den, DEN. So Daniel Den Official. And
Okay.
yeah, there we go.
We'll link it up. All right, guys, check out bigideasbox.com. We'll link it up as well in the show notes. Get yourself a box, optimize those ideas so that you can influence more people. Final question, Daniel. What does happy hustling mean to you?
Happy hustling to me means, sharing that wisdom that actually brings happiness, because that's what this podcast is all about. That's what the whole community that you built is all about. It's the wisdom, like real life wisdom, that like brings real happiness to our lives, and that's why people love the happy hustle.
Thank you, brother. I love it. Mic drop, y'all. Daniel Den, thank you for watching and listening. We are out. Peace and love, everyone.